And we are here at the FIBO with the franchise checks. We're doing a deep dive on all 16 ELF franchises for the 2025 season. I am sitting here with our expert, Matt Bressington, and we're moving south this time. We're going to be talking about the Madrid Bravos. Interesting franchise. The only franchise in ELF history so far to make the playoffs in their first ever year of existence. I know people like to get up in arms about the Vienna Vikings. They existed before. That is a different scenario. So, Matt, let's talk a little bit about the Madrid Bravos here, starting off with a bit of their history.
Indeed. So, 4-8, 8-4 rather. And that would have been a crazy playoff run. But they did that really, really well. They were kind of in that echelon, and I'm going to hit you with a throwback here.
Do it.
The upper middle area of the league that we talked about so much
Upper
on
mids.
the Live. They were 5th in scoring offense, 5th in points allowed, 6th in total yards, 9th in total yards allowed.
Right.
So they just kind of hung around the middle of the upper middle. They made the playoffs, didn't win. You know, they did fine. They were good. The first year was establishing really, really well.
Right. Well, let's not also forget about them causing a havoc in the ELF when they beat the Rhine Fire, and everybody thought the Rhine Fire party is over, and everybody thought, oh man, this Madrid Bravos team is legit. They turned out to be very solid, still making the playoffs, but that was them storming onto the scene, beating the Rhine Fire. So let's talk a little bit about this season, what this team is shaping up to look like in 2025. They got a new coach, Andrew Weidinger, coming from the Rhine Fire. Who are some of the key departures, though, guys that have left this franchise?
There's quite a few, actually. I mean, first and foremost, Dwayne Obi, their running back last year, absolute powerhouse. You talked about the Rhine Fire game. He was probably, him and Willie P, the reason they won that game. Phenomenal running back, British, so of course I'm going to be a little bit biased. I'm surprised he hasn't currently signed anywhere. I'd like to see him in the ELF again. But losing him is a little bit of their identity in that power run. I do think they've got a good replacement there. Jalen Embry as well, another corner that was really, really, really influential to that team. He got hurt, but when he was on the field, again, you talked about Ryan Fire, he picked off Jadrian twice in that game. He was absolutely excellent all season when it came to picking off the ball, one of the best ball-playing defenders last season. And then Luke Glenna, he kind of made the Luis Figo move from Barcelona to Madrid. It was a big thing, but he played really, really well. Answered a lot of questions I had about his movement in his hips. Looked a lot better in Madrid. And now he's not there anymore, so his development there stops. He is quite young for a safety. He goes over to the Nordic Storm. It's a lot of departures for sure.
For our Americans watching, I believe that was a soccer reference. If you feel confused, I'm sorry for my fellow countrymen. Matt is from the United Kingdom. He can't help himself sometimes. Luke Glenna, I feel like, is a little bit, I don't know, I know he gets some props, but he still, to me, feels a little bit underrated. I think he's fantastic. I think he plays sideline to sideline so well. If you watch him in person, I watched him in person from the sideline from a couple games, and I come away thinking, man, this guy is explosive. He plays downhill. He's a leader. He's vocal. He brings a great energy. I'm pumped to see him, but that's a tough loss for the Bravos. Let's move into what their roster is kind of looking like here for 2025, beginning with some of their key extensions, guys that they've been able to retain, and then some new acquisitions, one of which we've talked about. I'm very curious about the quarterback position. Talk to me about this 2025 roster.
Let's start with these extensions. So we talked about homegrown talent. You need homegrown talent to win in this league. All three of these guys are homegrown talents. Alessandro Fernandez, the Iceman, one of the best defensive ends in the league, great run stopper, has had injury issues, granted, but when he's on the field, he is phenomenal. Hoping with last season, he comes in fresh this year, he can make a real impact off the edge. And Pablo Urrea, in my opinion, he should have won Rookie of the Year last year, or Defensive Rookie of the Year last year. Phenomenal safety. Was a CFL Global invite this year, so Combine in Canada. He's come back to Spain. I've been following him since he was in high school. That's how crazy this goes. Back in 2020 about. So I've been watching his development. He's ready to become one of the league's premier safeties. And Raul Saneda, another all-star snub. There were some all-star snubs in this team and some people that were snubbed of awards. One of the most balanced tight ends in the entire league. I think this year they do have a pretty stacked team, so targets might not be in Raul's way, but he is a very, very good player.
Yeah, man, I mean, I called a few of the Madrid Bravos games last year, and I came away just so impressed. I was saying Uriah's name so often. He was all over the field, and same with Cernuda, like coming up big in certain situations. So big retentions for them, new acquisitions. And Matt, talk to me about Reed Sinnett. I know in ELF Live we talked about it a little bit, but here in this franchise check, give me your thoughts.
See, in fact, I'm going to make you wait for Reed Sinnett for the retention purposes.
Anticipation.
So he's going to be last on my key additions. But let's just start at the very beginning. Pierre-Yves Mejo, the defensive end from Switzerland. I'm a little bit surprised he's coming as an E, I'm going to be honest.
Right.
His first season coming in as an E in the ELF. He was Defensive Rookie of the Year last year. Had a lot of production, but I think he has a lot to clean up in his every snap play. I'd like to see him get a little bit stronger, a little bit more physical with the offensive lineman. I think this is a good place to develop. Speaking of young talent that has developed, Flores Calderon, one of the best European receivers we have.
I got to apologize. You are so high on Flores Calderon. You've been calling him for multiple years.
Yeah, I have been. So back in Milan, he was the Rookie of the Year sensation. He was Milan Spiller before Milan Spiller, for the guys that remember. He's a sideline guy. He's going to be able to stretch the field. He has good speed. He's bulked up a lot over the last couple of seasons. The people have been seeing him move into the slot a little bit more. Exclusively was on the left side of the field in his first year. Has moved around with Andrew. I think he's going to have a lot of fun with him. Then Aaron Cruikshank, former Chicago Bear, rapid. When I mean rapid, he has the fastest shuttle drill in ELF history for players that are entering in. Real quick speed, cuts on a dime, a very Andrew type receiver. You think of all the receivers he'd had, Robitaille and Willie P, now he's got him as well.
We're talking faster even than Dawson Dales, the fastest man in ELF.
I said shuttle, not 40.
Yeah, okay.
On 40, no one's touching.
Shout out to Dawson Dales.
And then you've been waiting for it. Reed Sinnett.
Thank you. Here we go.
Here we go. So no, he is, to me, the biggest riser of this offseason. Talk about players that come in, we don't know what they're going to look like. Maybe there isn't a ton of tape on them coming into the year. Maybe, he was a practice squad guy. We don't get tape on practice squad guys.
Right.
So we kind of got to make educated guesses on film clips from a few years ago or bits and pieces from his XFL and USFL days. I think he's got it. He's been rising up through the boards. We mentioned on other platforms how good he is. And I think if Andrew's interested in him, then it says a lot. He's going to have experience with NFL playbooks as well. It's a big thing. Andrew runs a very, very complicated offense. To have someone who's been around that was an absolutely needed part of Madrid.
Yeah, this is the thing. If Andrew's interested in these guys, and it's also the stamp of approval for Aaron Cruikshank as well, it's like he knows what works in Europe, and these are two American imports. They're their first time in Europe, but Andrew knows what he's doing. So if anyone can pluck guys and have them have success in that first year, it's him. Well, taking a look here at the roster, so we're talking about maybe a little bit of a gamble with some of these E positions here, and I think you kind of alluded to it with Pierre-Yves Mejo, who won the Defensive Rookie of the Year last year, and this is his first time being an E import. So what are your thoughts on the roster broadly?
So funny enough, they've got quite a lot of guys who are in their first time being an E import.
Yep.
Nico Barrow, first time being an E in the ELF. Flores Calderon, first time being an E in the ELF. Sixten Dragon, first time being in the ELF. Brendan Osborne, first time being, and then Yasir Raj as well. So
for those who don't understand, that adds quite a bit of pressure to a player. When you're a homegrown, the expectations naturally are just a little bit lower. You're not taking up some sort of quota spot. When you're an E, when you're an A, expectations are higher, and there's a mental aspect to that, I think, especially for a guy who's in that position for the first time.
So it just clicked. All of their E's are first-time E's. I didn't notice until very much this instance. But I think a lot of people are looking at the offensive line, and that's why I want to highlight very quickly.
Yep.
People have said they don't have the line to compete with the big boys, the Surge, the Fire, the Nordic as well. I disagree. I think that Ngami is a great young center. They've got people like Carlos Carrasco-Sáenz, who's going to try and go to the NFL this offseason. You don't make that. He's a very underrated right tackle. You've got Cabin Kaya, great left tackle, very young, very athletic. Oswin, I alluded to, the E. He's a mauler at guard. He's going to just take people. He's an Aussie guy, so he's going to just run people through the floor. Yasir Raji, he can play anywhere you want. He can play tight end, he can play receiver, he can play running back. He can play quarterback if Reed goes down. He's Mr. Everywhere, 78 is eligible. I like this team. I do think they have a lot of under-the-radar pieces, and I think people are sleeping on Madrid as a potential championship contender.
Okay, potential championship run here from Matt Bressington. With that being said, let's take a look here at their schedule for 2025 and our predictions for how these games are going to go. And I'm taking the first half of the season, And I'm starting off a little controversially because, Matt, I also really like this team. I think this is going to be a great team. I think that they're going to be a playoff contender and possibly maybe a semifinal. Maybe we're talking championship game contender. However, I have them losing their first 2 games.
Oh, wow.
Okay? They have them going 0-2 against Hamburg, who I don't particularly like. But I think that there's a lot of new pieces here, especially at important roles. Granted, Weidinger has been in Europe before, but this is a new franchise for him. New quarterback. It's going to possibly take a game or 2 for them to start clicking, maybe even longer. That's why I have them dropping on these first 2 games, maybe a little bit controversial. Give me a win against the Mercenaries, no problem there. Give me a win against Fehervar, no problem there. Give me a win against the Raiders T-Roll, even though I think that could be a nice little competition. I like that they're in the same division this year. I like to see them going against each other. And then they avenge themselves against Hamburg later in the season once they're starting to click. So that's where I got them. I've got them at 4-2 getting the first half of the season. Matt, take the back half.
Here we go. So they're going to play Munich Ravens. I'm favoring them to take that one. I think Munich is a hard one. I'm going to take the experienced quarterback over the rookie quarterback. That's what I'm going to do. Give me a win against the Enthroners. Give me a win against the Mercenaries. I don't think either of those teams have the depth. They double up on the Raiders Tyrrell. However, I feel like this could be a trap game. You know, they could win or lose this. I'm going to go for them to win it. But I do think it's a tough challenge. I think they do the double over the Ravens again. And then I think they finish really strong on that win streak of 10 games. They bring it home against the Galaxy on that playoff push and finish in that playoff picture.
So, if this comes to fruition, this 10-2 sort of situation results, they are going to be winning the South Division. They're going to be playoff bound. What are the keys? What is kind of the takeaways for this team? What do they need to do well? What do they need to hit on for this to become a reality?
If you like offense, this is the team for you. They are going to have to outshoot everyone. Every game is going to be 45-40 or 58-62. Every game is going to be a shootout. This is a high-octane offense. Andrew loves offense. I've spoken to Andrew a lot in the offseason. He wants to go for that MVP season that Jay did. He wants to break that into pieces. So there's a lot going into this year. I think this is being a massive one. Keep Reed happy. We talked about the offensive line. Need to keep him comfortable. He's got a ton of weapons. 2 E's at receiver, great Spanish receivers, and then you add an A into that. And then you need to create turnovers on defense. Give this offense short fields just to score quickly, get them off, get them rested, and then get back on fresh to score even more points.
Kind of reminds me a little bit of a Cincinnati Bengals type situation. I mean, they're going to have to score a lot of points to win, but if they're able to do that, they're going to be good. So there we have it. Madrid Bravos 2025 franchise check from the FIBO. Thanks for watching.